Shalom, Yasharallah, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give Kal Halal Yahweh, Bahasham, Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. That is to say, all praise to Yahweh. In the name of the anointed Yahweh Shai, Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Shai being the name of the man that the world ignorantly calls Jesus. So, just want to quickly touch on the law. This present world is contrary to us, right? Everything is designed to make you break the law and to make you commit sin. And that's for a specific purpose. But right now, and so lucky if there's a lot of wind or I sound out of breath at any point, I'm out and about, but it just jumped on my spirit that I wanted to do this. And while I had everything fresh in my mind, what I want to go over, I decided to just hit record and do this. So, Lord willing, it's not too noisy. I'm going to review afterwards. If it's too noisy, I'm just going to have to redo it. If not, here we are, and all praises to the Most High. Yahweh Ba'ashem Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. So, everything is contrary. A few examples, and we're going to get into the topic of this video, or the main example of this video later, but a few examples for now is, like I mentioned earlier, if you look up soba noodles, S-O-B-A noodles, and you check the ingredients, you could look at like a chicken flavour, a beef flavour. Obviously we know it's not actual chicken and beef in there, but the flavouring is supposed to be chicken or beef. It's supposed to be chicken or beef kind of flavoured. It's got nothing to do with unlawful meats, right? It's just some noodles with some chicken and beef flavouring. Chicken or beef flavouring or whatever flavouring. But you look at the ingredients and you diligently inspect them, you see I think it says may contain crustaceans. Now, if you know Leviticus chapter 11, the only things in the sea that we're permitted to eat out of the water is fish that have fins and scales, both fins and scales. Like catfish does not have scales, but it does have fins. Because that doesn't have both, we can't eat it. Right? Salmon has both. Right? Crustaceans do not have fins and scales. Right? What the hell are crustaceans doing in an instant noodle? What purpose does that serve? There's no good reason to include crustaceans. Why do they do that? Because they're counting on you to not diligently check whether it's in there or not. Oh, it's just some chicken noodles. Oh, it's just some beef noodles. What could possibly be unlawful about that? They're banking on you not diligently checking. That's why I bring out this scripture all the time. Deuteronomy chapter 6 verse 17. Ye shall diligently keep the commandments of the Lord your God. Okay? And his testimonies and his statutes which he have commanded thee. You have to do it diligently, right? So it's not good enough to just eat lawfully. No, you need to diligently eat lawfully. Oh, I consciously avoid pork. I consciously avoid seafood, crustaceans, shellfish. I consciously avoid these things. But do you diligently avoid these things? Oh, these noodles can't contain anything like that. Well, yeah, they can. You know how shocked I was when I found out that gelatine was basically pig fat? You know, when you look at your Haribos or your sweets, your sweets and stuff, your marshmallows, you can assume all you want that doesn't include it, but you got to diligently check. So, it's just some noodles. I'm consciously, it's not pork. It's not pork noodles. It's not prawn noodles. Yeah, but did you check that it doesn't include anything that you can't eat? You have to diligently keep these commandments. Anyway, so getting back to the point I was going to make. Another example is the Sabbath day and the work week. The Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 work week. Okay. One thing, all praise to the Most High, I don't finish work at 5. I don't finish work that late. But a lot of brothers have 9 to 5s. You start at 9, you finish at 5. Guess what? In the UK right now, the sunset is around 4:30. So on a Friday, when you're clocking out at 5, the Sabbath's already begun. This world is contrary to the law. Everything is contrary, right? It's Friday. Most people get paid on Friday. A lot of people get paid on a Friday. So you get your money in, and you got that Friday feeling because you've been at work all week and now it's the weekend. You can finally have some you time. You get that Friday feeling. You just got paid. Maybe you got that new outfit, and you want to go out and party on the Sabbath. You want to go out drinking on the Sabbath, right? Out at the club or at a bar or a pub on the Sabbath, because you got that Friday feeling. You just got some money in your pocket. That's why they designed the work week the way they did, so that you finish on a Friday, you get paid on a Friday, so that you feel inclined to break the Sabbath. Right, before we get back to Esther, let's bring out why. This is Judith chapter 5 verse 20. I believe this is a Moabite. Anyway, this is let me get Psalms first. Psalm chapter 83. Verse 1, keep not thou silence, O God, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent, they are confederate against thee. So all these nations that are enemies to each other and hate each other, they're confederate when it comes to coming against us. They come together to come against us, right? And they take crafty counsel against us, right? And this is one of those examples where they're taking crafty counsel, right? I believe it's a Moabite speaking. It's two heathens speaking anyway about us. It says, Judith chapter 5 verse 20. Now therefore, my Lord and Governor, if there be any error against this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin, and let us go up, and we shall overcome them. So they're saying, hey, if these people sin against their God, it's going to be their ruin. Their God is not going to protect them. He's in fact going to give them over to us. So if that happens, then we can go up against them, and we'll overcome them. Meaning we'll defeat them, right? The next verse says, but if there be no iniquity in their nation, so if they're not doing evil works, let my Lord now pass by. So he says, don't bother them, lest their Lord defend them, and their God be Salakia, and their God before them. I just missed my step. Salakia about that. It says, and their God before them, right? And we become a reproach before all the world. So he's saying, if they're not committing sin, their God's going to defend them. Don't bother them, because you will not win. So they keep you in sin so that they can continue to rule, and so that they can overcome you. That's why they do these things. That's why they set it up the way they do. This is an addition to Esther chapter 4. Salakia, I can't quite remember which chapter this is in your actual Apocrypha book. But on this app it's chapter 4. I know it's different in the book. So it says, addition to Esther chapter 4 verse 1, the copy of the letters was this. The great king Artaxerxes writeth these things to the princes and governors that are under him from India unto Ethiopia, in 127 provinces. So he's writing to all these kings in these different provinces, these people that are subject to him. And he's saying, after that I became Lord over many nations and had dominion over the whole world, not lifted up with presumption of my authority, but carrying myself always with equity and mildness, I propose to settle my subjects continually in a quiet life. Right, that's why he did things like allowed us to go back home. Right? And making my kingdom peaceable and open for passage to the utmost coasts, to renew peace, which is desired of all men. Now when I asked my counselors how this might be brought to pass, so how are we going to do that? Aman, that exalted in wisdom among us, and was approved for his constant good will and steadfast fidelity, and had the honour of the second place in the kingdom, declared unto us that in all nations throughout the world there was scattered a certain malicious people that had laws contrary to all nations, and continually despised the commandments of kings, so as the uniting of our kingdom honourably intended by us cannot go forward. It's talking about us, right? Despising the commandments of kings. So when they tell us to do something contrary to the law, we don't want to do it, right? We don't want to do it. So they see it as us despising their commandments, when really we're just keeping our God's commandments. It's the same thing today. They want us to stop teaching what we teach, stop doing what we do, because it's contrary to them. It's not because we're despising their commandments. Well, we are despising their commandments, but ultimately we're just serving our God. But they don't see it that way. They just think that we're just being difficult. So lucky, I just got a phone call. So it says, they call us a malicious people, right? That had laws contrary to all nations. So our laws are contrary to all these nations, right? It's contrary. Our laws are the opposite of ours, because we do righteousness, they do wickedness. Right? So we're contrary to all these nations, right? And that's why I wanted to just touch quickly on what I wanted to touch on scrumping. Right, I was thinking of this as I was walking by a field, and I seen some apples on the floor, and I thought about scrumping, and then it made me think about a certain law. So scrumping is to steal fruit from an orchard or garden, right? Scrumping is to steal fruit. If you was to even walk past a tree in someone else's field and just take one apple, in the UK, that is illegal. That is considered stealing in the UK. To steal fruit. Is scrumping illegal in the UK? Officially, scrumping hasn't been repealed and is still technically illegal under legislation, right? So, this made me think of Deuteronomy chapter 25. Oh, Salakia. It might be 35. Hold on. Oh, 5. Salakia. I don't know where I got 25 from. No. 23, 25. Chapter 23, verse 25. Says, let's start verse 24. When thou comest into thy neighbour's vineyard, then thou mayest eat grapes thy fill at thine own pleasure. So you can eat grapes till you're full. It says, but thou shalt not put any in thy vessel. Meaning you can't put them into a basket, can't take a bucket and kind of start filling it up. Right? It says, when thou comest into the standing corn of thy neighbour, then thou mayest pluck the ears with thine hand, but thou shalt not move a sickle unto thy neighbour's standing corn. So you can't start harvesting his corn. You can pluck an ear of corn off. No problem. You can just pluck some corn and eat it there. Don't be putting it into a basket or taking it home or anything, right? But you can't just start harvesting the crops, right? But in the law, to make sure that our poor can be fed, to make sure people don't die of hunger, you can go to your neighbour's field and eat. Can't start taking it away. That's wickedness. Can't start filling up buckets and stuff. That is stealing. You can just eat some fruit out of his field, no problem. But the UK is contrary to that. They make that illegal. You pick one apple, one grape, that's a crime. Because we have laws contrary to all nations, right? But we just have to keep enduring. Just have to keep doing the good works, keep this law, and don't be conformed to this world. Conform to this world means to be basically subject to it, to give into it, to live according to it. Don't be conformed to this world, right? So with that, I want to give Kal Halal La Yahweh Bahasham Hamashiach Yahweh Shai. Shalom.